Guys, welcome to another episode of Legacy Speaks. My name is Sierra and I'm coming to you with another counselor chat. Today I get to introduce to you Dr. Turpeau. He is Black America's Love Doctor, y'all. He's been killing the game for quite some time now. Actually, he's one of Atlanta's top 3 marriage counselors. So I'm super excited. Welcome, Dr. Turpeau.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
So can you tell the people a little bit about you? I know I just introduced you, but
Yeah, that's fine. I'm actually from here, Atlanta, Georgia. As you mentioned, I'm Black America's Love Doctor. Also known nationally for my Essence Magazine Bestselling book, The Harmonious Way.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how you can find love in marriage by playing your true note.
Mm.
So that's what I'm known nationally for. And I'm a love doctor. I help people, marriages, couples, individuals, anything that has to do with love and relationships. That's what I do.
Awesome. And I know during this time, everybody's like, it's spring. It's time for me to get my new relationship on. It's time for me to reinvent my marriage. So it's a beautiful time to talk about relationships and marriage.
Yeah.
One thing that drew me to your practice was the 3 pillars that you stand on. The first one is personal growth.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is finding a love relationship. And the third one is marriage enrichment. Can you please talk about that?
Yes. Personal growth. I'm a big fan of personal growth. I think we need to be being the best that we can be at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And a part of personal growth is that social relationships and companionship and love life. And so I think that's an integral part. Being lonely, being by yourself, I think is a big deficit. Can you get through life by yourself, lonely? Yes, of course. But why would you? Can you get through life poor? Yes, of course. But why would you?
Right.
So I think it's important. Is it necessary? No, but it is very enriching if you can have love in your life and have a love relationship. And I talk about this in my book. A lot of times, a lot of my colleagues, people will say things like, I hear people say in my sessions, they'll say, well, I got to get me together first. Once I get myself together, and then once I get myself together, learn how to love me and be in that place where I'm just so perfect and right. Once I reach this nirvanic state of got myself together, because how can I be any good for anybody if I don't have myself together and learn how to be me and love myself and all that bull crap. I'm not sure what your audience is. But no. Look, if you're waiting to get to that perfect place to have yourself together, and I just need to work on myself first. If you find yourself saying phrases like that, warning, you're getting ready to be lonely in life. Because we will never reach that state, that nirvanic state of arrival. Like, I'm perfect now, and now I'm good for somebody, and let me find somebody. By the time you do that, everybody will be gone. You'll be by yourself.
Oh, wow.
So life doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work sequentially, like a 5-year plan. First I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna do this. Then life doesn't work that. You need to be working on all of that stuff at all times. So constantly be getting yourself together. Guess what? I'm 54. I'm still personally growing. Now, if I wait to reach that state of personal growth before I have a relationship, I'd never have a relationship.
Yeah.
So you have to constantly work on yourself, and don't take it sequentially, step by step. Work on it the whole time, or you'll be by yourself.
I love the way you put that, because we do tend to kind of compartmentalize our growth. Like, all right, first I'm going to work on me personally. Now I'm going to work on myself professionally. And now I'm going to work on myself relationally. And the approach that you take is just like all of that stuff happens at the same time.
Simultaneously, yes.
Yeah, that's very beautiful. And how do you kind of take that message and help not your audience, but your clients and everybody that you speak to kind of download that? Because I know that's a hard thing to kind of change. That's a difficult habit for us to change.
Yeah, it's because we receive these messages. A lot of the messages that we receive are unhealthy, and we wonder why we have a hard time in our relationship lives, because we get unhealthy love tracks that we get programmed with. And so what I do in a lot of my sessions is I question a lot of these unhealthy love tracks that have been downloaded into our minds, and by questioning them, shaking them up, we can actually be open to experiencing some different ideas, some different behaviors, and then we will actually get different results in our lives. And so questioning things like, first you got to get this together before you can be in a relationship, or love conquers all, or unconditional love. all these things that are common that people get downloaded with,
right,
that I try to question and follow your heart and things like that. Because every TV movie, Lifetime or any movie you watching on Netflix or whatever, people want to make decisions in love. They make bad decisions a lot of time in love relationships because they've been listening to a lot of songs, they've been watching a lot of movies, and the movies are like, you'll have a woman in a bad relationship with a dude who is not relationship material. And then she'll go to her grandmama or some old man or some old person in the family. Yeah. And she'll be like, well, Mama M, I don't know what to do. What should I do? And then Mama M will be like, well, baby, I tell you. Do you love him, child?
That's basically it. That's every Madame movie.
Yeah. Do you love him? Yeah, Mama M. I love him. Well, baby, that's all that matters. Just follow your heart, and everything will be okay.
Bless the people.
Yeah. That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
And to kind of speak back to like our culture, particularly since you're a Black America's Love Doctor, when we think about love, like I grew up with movies like The Best Man, Love Jones, all of that stuff. It's just like, this is something that you aspire to school days when you go to a HBCU and you find that particular love and that struggle.
Right.
And so it's just like, I think, with our generation or just generations in general, like you said, we see these things on TV and it's just like, man, why can't I find that one person?
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. That's another unhealthy love track that we get downloaded with. That there's only one person out there, and it's destined, my soulmate. It's a ribbon. It's recorded in the ribbon, in the recording ribbon in the sky, that this is the person that's destined to be my lover. That's the one. That will muck you up if you believe in that. There's a lot of people out here that you could be in a happy love relationship with. But if you're constantly thinking there's only that one person, that will muck you up because that'll do a lot of different things. You'll get with somebody and you think, this is the one. You'll be convinced this is the one. And he's messing you up or she's messing you up. And then you've been so convinced that that's the one that you're going to make that shit work no matter what. Yeah. When you could be going on, there's somebody highly much more compatible and better for you right over here. Right. Or, you could think so much pressure that's that one soulmate out there for me. It's just that one person that's just gotta. Then that also can keep you from getting with anybody because you'll never know if that's that one person. You say, well, but what if you're not the one? What if there's a better deal out here? Right. And so these things will constantly muck you up, and you'll find yourself being alone and messed up in bad, shitty relationships. Right. I didn't ask you about the language I use.
So there's like two polar opposites that you spoke to specifically that I really appreciate because of the fact that is true, that one person that we're constantly seeking, and on the opposite end is just like not being flexible. This is what I want. This is the list that I have. And we can't just say that only Black women deal with this, but there are some Black men who have the list that, but how do you kind of meet in the middle ground? How do you establish that level of flexibility?
I'm a fan. I talk about in my book that you need to have a list of the things that you're looking for in a person. And the longer your list, the better. Okay, because it's easy to meet a short list. I want a man. Okay, there's a lot of people that can meet that guy. Well, he met 100% of my list. So, I don't know why it didn't work. Yeah. Well, because your list wasn't long enough. Right. If somebody meets everything on your list not long. Your list isn't long enough. Okay, so you need to have a long list. I had like 42 characteristics on my list. Some of my clients, I do that list with them, they have 60, 70 characteristics. That's great. You need to have a long list. Now keep in mind, nobody's going to get 100% on your list. Yeah. You have to keep that in mind. Yeah. If you have that expectation, then you're going to be alone because nobody's going to do it. And if they do, again, your list isn't long enough. See, what the advantage of the list is it keeps us rational. It keeps us not being taken aside by our emotions and whims. We spend more time thinking about what major we're going to be, what career we're going to do, what kind of house we're going to invest in, what kind of finances we're going to have, what kind of car we're going to buy, even what kind of vacation we're going to go on. We spend more analytical and really thinking through and giving all our best abilities to make that decision than we do on a love partner. We're going to throw that toward, just something, I don't know, girl, just something. You got
I just feel it in my spirit.
And how important is that? Your love partner, your choice for the rest of your life, how important is that? And then you're going to just based on the whim of the day, the emotion of the day, or they, just something about them that turns you on.
Right.
So this thing is too important, especially you talking about married and having kids.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna just not think through that thing and analyze it.
Right.
Come on now.
That's very true. I have these conversations with a friend of mine. Like, marriage is more than just love, especially, when it comes to like building an empire and growing with somebody. You need to make sure that you guys are on the same page. You guys have like the same direction and goals and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing you need to think through.
Yeah.
And I talk about it in my book, The Harmonious Way.
Yes, definitely. Make sure you guys pick it up. I'm going to drop the link in the description box below. That way you can have The Harmonious Way. So too, it's just like there are so many different challenges and so many different elements that marriages and relationships deal with, and one particular one, we're going back to building an empire, is finances. They say like finances is what the number one thing that causes divorce, or kind of is extremely crucial when it comes to forming those long-term relationships. How do you speak to that and handle that with couples, or how do you get couples to talk about that?
Yeah, I know that's what's said a lot, but I find in my practice it's not so much finances, it's communication. Because I've seen people with not much money. I've seen people with a lot of money. Happy people with a lot of money. Happy couples with a lot of money. Poor couples with happy relationships. So it's not one or the other.
Yeah.
And so the communication about it, being on the same page, having the same priorities. This I think is much more important, being able to be on the same page, having a we mindset versus a you and I. What I see a lot today is a lot of people, they value money sometimes more than they do each other. And that's where I see the problem coming in. And they don't see, money to me is a tool for the marriage. It's a tool for me. It's a tool for me to serve my family, my wife and my kids. It's not the other way around, where money's more important and then than my family. It should be the other way around. Your family is more important and money is a tool. Unfortunately, in our society, we've become so money focused. And don't get me wrong, I like making money. But some things are more important than money. And what's more important, I feel, what helps is to have your loved one and your family to be more important than money. And if you get that twisted, you'll have the cart before the horse, and it will really you'll be wondering how come you're arguing all the time, because you're thinking money's more important. If you're not careful, that's a slippery slope.
Are there any other topics of discussion that comes up besides communication, besides the finances? Like, what are some trending things that you've noticed within this realm of counseling?
Communication, as we mentioned, infidelity is a big one. It's a big, hard one for people to get over, building the trust back up, because that's hurtful when you feel betrayed. You go down this whole deficit of trust in a relationship. I think you measure the wealth of a relationship by how much trust is there. And when infidelity happens, it really digs a hole for people's relationships. I've helped a lot of couples get over the infidelity in their relationship, and I do that for people, but that tends to be a real big one that people have a hard time with. And so fortunately, I'm able to help them and build that trust back up and show them how they can communicate better to really heal their relationship. And
I know in previous conversations, you're not only specializing in marriage and family and marriage and relationship counseling, but you have a vast array of experience as well. I know that you don't really typically focus on that, but can you tell the people a little bit about what you're certified in?
Sure. There's other things that I've done in the past. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, helping people with trauma in their lives. I've also a crisis counselor, helping people go through crisis. Other things in my background, I have a Master of Divinity. I used to teach religion at Morehouse College. And I also used to be a corporate trainer in the area of diversity. So I would travel around the country to these big companies, major companies, and teach about racism, sexism, and just diversity in general. So those are some of the other things that I've done in the past.
And the reason why I ask is because as a growing clinician myself, just starting in the game, I know it's super important for us to take the experiences that we've had and continuously use them in what we do today. And so could you give some advice to other new clinicians about growth and development, particularly with you focusing on personal growth as well?
Yes. if you're growing in the area, one of the reasons I chose relationship counseling is because that was always an interest of mine, and the struggles I had in my own personal love relationships, love life. I had a failed marriage. I was married and dissolved the marriage by the time I was 25. And so I took a lot of that as learning for me and just consuming information and trying to figure out this love and relationships. So my journey is kind of like, as therapists, we're like wounded healers. And so take your journey. For clinicians, I would say take your journey. What's your story? What have you learned from it? And then go out and try to help others. We become wounded healers, and people will actually respect and appreciate that you've been there. You've gone through what they've gone through, and then you know what you're talking about. You're not just talking off a theory.
Right.
And so by being a wounded healer, you can actually help people a lot, and they really appreciate it. And share your story with them. They really do appreciate it.
Right. And I love how you were able to take that concept and apply it to your practice too, because like you stated, your personal experiences with the marriage and relationships, that's something that you can speak to and relate to on a different level with your clients. And besides the Harmonious Way, you also have a CD like of affirmations and whatnot. Can you talk about that as well?
Yeah, the CD I have is about how to have hot topic conversations. It's called Courageous Communication. And so a lot of what I talk about in my sessions is actually on that CD. It's called a Courageous Communication, How to Have Hot Topic Conversations. It takes courage to be able to talk about hot topics, sensitive issues that get people arguing. And so it's rather than avoid these topics, which people eventually do because they learn when they try to talk about it, it didn't go well, people blow up, withdraw, shut down. So, but you don't have the tools. So in the CD, I talk about a lot of things I talk about here, about tools about how to go ahead and how to approach those conversations, how to respond, how to listen, how to interact, some do's and don'ts about how to have productive conversations with people.
Right. Those underlying things that we try to avoid on a consistent basis. Yes.
People, it's the analogy. It's like if a young kid goes into the pool and they almost drown, and they come out and they say, and then oh man, I almost drowned, and everybody says, come on back in, we'll be okay. Come on back into the pool. That boy be like, I ain't getting back in there. I ain't getting back in there. That's the same thing. People try to have these sensitive conversations in their marriage, and it doesn't go well. They almost drown. Big old argument and everything, and so they get out and they're like, man, we need to talk about this. I'm not talking about that, especially men, because we're not as verbally skilled as females tend to be.
Yeah.
So I'm not going down that road again. So if it's just like that kid who almost drowned, they don't want to get back in the pool. So what I do, I'm a swim teacher. So I teach people how to swim, how you can actually swim, you can actually have these conversations, because you can't go through a marriage and not having these hot topic, important conversations. That takes away from intimacy. We try to build intimacy. And so that's what I do as a counselor, helping people with love and relationships. And the CD is kind of like a audio CD, 60 minutes full of information. We just bam, 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 just a whole lot of information of how you can become a better swimmer in your relationship.
Ooh, that's a great analogy. And we're going to end on that note. Dr. Turpeau, is there anything that you would like to share with the audience before we go?
Yeah, do not give up on love. Do not give up on relationships. Have the best life you can be. Best life that you can have. Be the best you can be, and just get it all.
All right, guys, like I said, I'm going to include the link to Dr. Turpeau's Psychology Today profile as well as his website. Definitely, please stay connected via Legacy SPKS on everything. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And drop in the comment section one thing that you learned from today's session. All right, thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Great video.